I don't want to talk like your dad, but in some parts, I have to educate you like that. So I want you to ask questions. I want to give you feedback. One, I don't know everything. If anyone's telling you they do, they're lying through their teeth. Run with your hair on fire.
So today we have none other than Mark Kruse from RE/MAX Alliance in Denver, Colorado. Welcome, Mark.
Welcome.
Thank you both.
So happy to have you here. And I have to say, Mark is one of my dearest friends now after we had a phenomenal trip, a masterminding trip to Captiva Island. Just, what was it, about a week ago, Mark?
About a week ago on a beach.
And now look at us. Now we're here on a podcast. And I'm so excited for our audience to get to know you and to meet you and to kind of hear your story. So that being said, I know you've been a realtor for 16 and a half years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I love it. So now, Mark, bring us on back. Tell us your story. Where are you from? How long you were there, where you're living now. We'd love to hear more.
Thank you. So I am from Denver. I was actually born here. And then we moved to a small town in southern Colorado when I was 2.5, 3. And I lived on a farm until I was 12. And at 12, we moved from the farm into town. So kind of had the farm lifestyle, then the small town lifestyle. And then as soon as I could, I moved back to the big city. So I was back in Colorado Springs and Denver for all of my college years. We want good people. We want seasoned professionals. And I said, well, then I want to work for you. I want in. And they said, we can't take you on. One of them had a buy-in, and one of them said, we're not taking new realtors, even though it's the first of the year. Call RE/MAX Alliance. You seem like you might be a good fit for RE/MAX, and they have training, and they will be good for you. Called RE/MAX Alliance, spoke to one of my favorite people, Kim Hawkins, and she said, come on in for an interview. And that was it. I mean, I sat down with her. She sold me. She was like, you can do this. And I was in. I liked the culture at our office. I'm still at the same office 16 and a half years later. I loved the people. I loved that it was fast paced. All these professionals that had been in it a lot longer than I was. And they were all older than I was and had this wealth of knowledge. That was it. I was in.
Love it. Our first episode, my mom was like, brokership. I'm like, broker ownership, brokership. All right, it's a word. So funny.
I love those moments when you're like, see, I'm not a robot. It's me.
It's actually me. No, I'm not reading from a teleprompter.
That's right.
But no, I just think it's great, like how you started off like younger in the business. And it's true, the average realtor is 55 years old, right? And at the end of the day, it's intimidating to walk into those offices, have two people say no to you. And guess what? A lot of people could have shied away. And you actually did the opposite. And you're like, nope. Why? Give me another shot. And that opened up the next door for you. Third time's a charm. And look at you now, 16 and a half years later, having a successful career. You know, don't you teach agents as well?
Yeah, we have a mastermind session every month. I've been doing that for 8.5 years now. And so I teach agents all over. From our offices, we've even had a few people Zoom in from other offices. It's incredible. I don't want to talk like your dad, but in some parts, I have to educate you like that. So I want you to ask questions. I want to give you feedback. One, I don't know everything. If anyone's telling you they do, they're lying through their teeth. Run with your hair on fire. And two, I want you to come out of it going, okay, I know I bought a house. That's the biggest transaction I'm going to do, but it was easy. He made it seamless. He made the transaction fun. Again, it's high-end retail therapy. Enjoy the transaction.
I'm
obsessed have to share that.
High-end retail therapy, sign me up.
That's right. It's amazing. The developers had the forethought to say, let's clean up downtown. Let's do it right. Let's have people going down there for the retail, the bars, the parks. I mean, they put a park right along the riverfront that's beautiful. And you can sit at a restaurant or a wine bar, look across the park, watch people walking their dogs, taking their kids around, playing Frisbee, while having drinks. I mean, that is a vibe that I never would have seen coming 20 years ago.
Love it. And I mean, speaking of parks and things like that, I mean, whenever I think of Denver, I always think of such an active lifestyle, right? Like you mentioned, the mountains, the parks. Can you speak to that a little bit as far as what's available for people?
There are parks, pretty much every community has one. So they're everywhere. And a lot of the parks feed into the trail systems so that you can get from one area to another, hopefully without having to get on a major road. That's not at all of them. I mean, we have a lot of bike paths and things like that on roads, but I enjoy the park systems because I ride my bike and I enjoy getting on the trails, riding through the parks, getting back on a trail without ever having to get on a road.
So I have to know, are there mountain lions? Do we have to be careful?
Yeah, I've actually never seen one, not once. Hiking, biking in the city, but we certainly get reports of them. And I sell so far into the mountains that I have to tell my clients, you have to be careful of mountain lions, bears, just natural wildlife. We've had deer in houses. We've had mountain lions in houses. We've had bears in houses. So it's true. It's just personally, I haven't sold one where someone's called me and said, we had a bear incident last night.
Gosh. Isn't that something?
Trying out all the beds, Goldilocks, and the 3 beers.
Exactly. Usually they get into their cars because they've left some food. Not sure if they were going to open up anything for real estate showings again. Couldn't get into properties. Didn't know. As soon as it came back open, it was off to the races. I mean, just in the end, 6 months, 7 months of last year, I sold more properties than I did the year before. So that was insane. This year, we never knew it would tighten like this. February 1st came around and it was like a new market that we had never seen. We were half the number of homes we were during a pandemic when we thought, oh, it'll never get worse than this. I remember in April of 2020 saying, I've never seen 4,600 units on the market. That seems ridiculously low. But we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm sure everything will open back up and we'll be just fine. So by February 15th, when I was doing searches and there were 1,900 properties on our market, MLS, I was freaking out. I mean, we were back open. Everything seemed like it was getting better in Denver and there was no homes to sell. You'd go into whole neighborhoods that I've been selling for 16 and a half years, and there'd be one home. And so things started getting bid up at such a fast pace that I didn't even know how to compete for all of February. By March 1st, I knew what was going on. I was ready to do battle, and I was ready to educate my clients differently. Because all of February, I was like, well, it can't stay like this.
Can you speak a little bit about pricing? So, and affordability. So what type of pricing are buyers looking at in Denver?
Right now, our average price is about $600,000. 2 months ago, our average price was $530,000. That gives you an idea of what pricing has done in 2 months. So I look at everything and I do a market snapshot. And I looked at what it was a year ago, and it was about 500. So we've gone up quite a bit, but really in the last 2 months. So right now, if you are looking at a $400,000 to $500,000 home, you're adding on $40,000 to $50,000 onto your offer. Pretty standard, because that is almost a starter home now. Last year it was $375,000 to $475,000, so it's moved up.
And when we think about Denver, and you've painted such a nice picture for us, but why do people choose Denver? I know it's kind of more free. We have the parks, but what are some of the things that are driving people to Denver that are relocating? Are there any trends that you're seeing?
We tend to have pretty stable job growth. We tend to have, again, generational families. One family member will move here, and then everybody comes out and visits, and it's sunny during, the worst time of the winter in some of the back east or middle Midwest areas, and they come out here and they're like, wow, you have sun. And yes, it snowed yesterday, but now it's 48, 50 and everything's melting. It's beautiful. It's kind of hard not to fall in love with that. And then we have 4 full seasons. So beautiful spring, beautiful summer, beautiful fall. And if you love snow and you love kind of that dusting of frost on everything a couple of days a year, we've got that too. Denver finally has opened up our restaurants to 100% capacity. We're talking about getting rid of all masks. So I feel like people are starting to say, now might be time to finally sell if we can purchase again. And people moving from areas where masks were maybe less important or not required like they were here, I think are looking at Denver again saying, okay, it's back to kind of that area, that open feel that we wanted.
Love that. Now, is there anything else that we should share with our audience? Anything you think that we didn't touch upon that can kind of showcase the lifestyle and the location?
I would just tell them, come out here, see it for yourself. Even when it's raining, which is rare, it's beautiful. Even when it's snowing and you can't get out from the airport because there's a foot of snow, it's beautiful. So I don't know anyone that comes out and says, oh, I don't know why you would live out here. We don't have humidity usually, so you can go running outside on our hottest day.